Welcome to my second Skyrim mod tutorial. Today we're going to be extending our Balon Grey's note quest by changing things up a
Jewelry
little
with
bit. So let's go
legendary
back inside the
Argonian
Riften B and
craftsmanship.
bar.
Genuine Falmer blood elixir for sale.
So what we're going to do is extend the quest line a little bit so that when we sit down again at the bar, Balon Grey's going to approach us, and this time things are going to pan out a little differently. A word of advice from a fellow traveler. Never trust an Argonian to give you a decent drink. I prefer my own special brew. Why don't you try it? I warn you though, one sip of this and you'll find no other drink will satisfy you. How did you like it? It has a bit of a bite, doesn't it? The secret ingredient is nightshade, and perhaps a bit too much. One might say it has enough nightshade to kill an average man in an hour. But you're no average man, are you? No, you're certainly not average. I'd say you may live at least a day, but no more. No one has ever made it longer than that. If you would prefer to live longer, I could give you an antidote. But there's one small problem. I have a friend upstairs who's suffering a similar fate as you, and I promised this antidote to him. But if he were to die before I give him the antidote, I suppose you could have it.
If you've got the point, you're welcome here. Otherwise,
what just happened there
hit the road.
was, I guess,
I'm
Balon
getting out
Grey
of here.
offered me a drink of his, and I took it and it become poisoned. So you'll notice there's a green, occasional green effect just like that. And so he said there's a man up here who's also poisoned, who I need to kill so I can get the antidote for this poison. So what actually happens in this quest is that if I do not kill this man fast enough, it actually gives me an entire game day to do it. You can adjust this later, you'll see in the tutorial. But if I don't kill him fast enough and get the antidote, I can just actually die. So now I can run back down here after I kill the man and find Balon Grey somewhere. He's over here by the door. Talk to him. So you have, here's your antidote as promised. And so now he gives me the antidote, and now I can open up my inventory and go to the food, and there's Balon Grey's antidote. I can just drink it, and that should complete the quest. Alright, let's see how this was made. Alright, so before we begin actually making the extensions onto the quest, we're going to start by fixing some of the things that were broken in the original quest that we made in the first tutorial. The first thing we're going to do is make it so the player can't get up and move around after he sits down in the stool, because that will completely screw up the scene if the player's not there. So to do this, we need to go back to the quest that we made, so TQM Quest 01, and then go down to the Scenes tab, and then select the scene. What we're going to do is edit the data, and we're going to add a script fragment to the beginning, and this is just going to be game.disable player controls, and don't pass any parameters to it. And then after, in the end scene, add game.enable player controls. So what this does is, when this is called before the scene starts, this will, obviously it says disable player controls, so it will prevent the player from moving around, but he'll still be able to look around and switch from first person to third person mode. And then as soon as the scene's over, we go ahead and enable the controls again. So hopefully that should take care of that. And then the next thing we're going to do is make sure that Balon, after he talks to you and gives you the quest, we're going to have him actually stay at the bar and not leave. So go to the Quest Aliases tab, and then when it loads, go to the Note Giver alias and open that up. And so what we're going to do is give him a package. So what happens is, as we know, Balon already has some AI packages that's assigned to his actor, and then in the scene he gets AI packages assigned to him. And what happens is there's sort of these AI packages are prioritized. So when the alias is in a scene, the AI packages that will be run will be the scene ones. If he's not in a scene, then it will consider the AI packages that are in the alias. And then if any of those aren't met, or the conditions aren't filled, then it will fall back on the AI packages that the actor has. So what happens is the AI packages we specify here will override them. So let's add a new AI package. and in this case from the package template, just choose do nothing. And then what we need to do is we don't need to set any of the parameters, but go to the conditions, and we don't want them. So the problem with this is if we left it without any conditions, Balon would just sit in the bar and not do anything. He wouldn't mill around, he wouldn't do anything besides just stand there. So what we're going to do is add some conditions to make sure that the quest has already begun. So what we're going to do is add a new condition, and we're going to use the get stage function, and then select our TQM quest 01. And we're going to make sure that the stage is, first of all, greater than or equal to stage 10. And then click OK. And we're going to make sure we're going to do the get stage again. And again, select TQM Quest 01. And then make sure it's less than or equal to stage 40. So this will be the range of stages where the player should expect to see Balon. So basically what's going to happen is, normally he'll be milling around the bar doing the sandbox AI package, but then when you start the when you start the scene by sitting in the bar, he'll come up to next to you, sit down, and then by the time the scene's done, you'll be in stage 10 or stage 20 actually, and then he'll remain sitting then. So he'll use this do nothing package, which means he'll just hang out at the bar. So click OK, and that should be all we need there. And then again, go up to the alias name and Shift Tab again, and then press Enter to save. And then that fixes some of the issues we had in the previous mod. Go ahead and save. Alright, so now we're going to actually begin working on extending the quest line. To begin, we're going to start setting up some new aliases that our quest line is going to need. So open up the TQM Quest 01, and go to the Quest Aliases tab. The first thing we're going to do is add a alias that points to Kirava, who is the bartender in the Riften bar. So give the alias name just Kirava, and then choose unique actor, and then just type in Kirava there. So that's all we need there. So just Shift Tab, Enter. Now we need to make a marker in the world where we're going to spawn the bandit, and we're going to actually spawn the bandit or the poison person upstairs inside of the Riften bar. So to do this, we need to actually add a marker to the Riften bar. So if you don't already have it open, go to the Sail View window and then go down to Riften B and Barb, and then just load that up. I already have it loaded here. So now I'm going to go up to the top floor just by scrolling to zoom out, and we're going to put them in this room over here. And so to do this, we just need to make a marker in the world. And to do this, go to the world data tree, and then click on, or not the world data, sorry, the world objects tree, and then click on the static subtree. And up here in the filter, just type in X marker, and then grab the first X marker and just drag it in and place it in that room. And now let's double click and give it a name. So reference editor ID, I'm just going to set to TQM Quest 01 Bandit Spawn. And then click OK to save that. Alright, so now go back to the quest, so TQM Quest 01 under the quest tree, and go to the Aliases tab again. Now let's make a new reference alias, and now we're going to say specific reference, and we're going to select a forced reference, then click the select reference and render window. And now what we can do is we get the little target, we can just double click on our marker that we just added. Okay, so now it's pointing to TQM Quest 01 Bandit Spawn, which is good. Click OK. And now for the alias name, just call it Bandit Marker. And just save that. Alright, and now let's add another alias for the actual bandit. So just like what we did with the note in the previous tutorial, the bandit's just going to be created. So give the alias name Bandit, and then do the create reference to object. And then in this case, I'm going to type in LVL bandit melee one hand. So what this says is a leveled bandit melee who uses a one-handed weapon. And so the level means it's going to be a leveled up bandit, so it'll be appropriate to the player's current level. I'm just going to leave it on easy. You can change it if you want to. Then I'm going to set the create at, and I'm going to create it at the bandit marker. So what this means is it'll just create this bandit right where the marker was. Now what we need to do is actually set this initially disabled, because what happens is we don't want the bandit to appear before the quest actually starts, because otherwise if we don't have this box checked, the bandit will just be appearing as soon as you walk into the Riften bar, and he may start attacking people, and so that's bad. So we'll have him initially disabled, and we'll later enable him in a script. So go ahead and save that. And then finally we need to make a reference to the antidote, which is what will heal the player, and Balon will give this to him after he kills the bandit. So we're going to call it antidote for the alias name. Select create reference to object, and just like we did with the note, we're going to make him. We're going to do. I'm just going to choose. Ale, so something that can be consumed. I'm going to create it in, and I'm going to create it in the note giver. So inside of Balon Grey's pocket, he'll have the antidote. Okay, so that should set up all of the new aliases for our quest. Go ahead and save your progress now. Okay, now that we have our aliases set up, we're going to start working on the new scene. And to do this, we're just going to edit the old scene that we had from the last tutorial. So open up TQM Quest 01, go to the Scenes tab, and then select our old scene. So the first thing we're going to do is actually add a new actor. We're going to add Kirava to the scene. The reason we're doing this is because it prevents her from talking to you while you're talking to Balon Grey. Because normally she has some dialogue while you're sitting at the bar, and if she's actually a part of the scene, she won't run that normal dialogue. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the old dialogue that we have here. So just right click and select remove, and hit yes. And it'll give you a warning, just go ahead and hit yes. And now what we're going to do is we're going to leave the first action because that makes Balon Grey move to the place. We're going to add some new dialogue to phase 2. In this case, he's actually going to head track Kirava. He's going to look at Kirava when he says this line. And so I'm just going to add a new response here. And so the text, I'm just going to paste in some text here. So this line just says, "A word of advice from a fellow traveler, never trust an Argonian to give you a decent drink." So he's kind of sassing Kirava. And then we're going to change the emotion type here to be disgust. And then go ahead and click OK. And now again we want to change the speaker to be TQM Balon Grey so it filters it out. And then click OK, and then open it back up. Then open up the response again, and now we can record for this person. I'm just going to record some silence really quick so you don't have to listen to me record all the voices. I'll add those later. Okay. And then make sure you always, after you record your voice, you want to click save. And make sure you see that Y there, because if you don't, then it hasn't been saved yet. And if you don't have voices recorded, sometimes it can really break the scene. Okay, so that's our first piece of dialogue. Now we're going to add another phase at the end, and this time we're going to add some more dialogue. And so this time he's going to actually he's going to head track the player, so he'll turn his head to look at the player. We're going to add some new dialogue here. And this next part he says, "I prefer my own special brew. Why don't you try it? I warn you though, one sip of this and you'll find no other drink will satisfy you." We'll give him a neutral expression for this one. And again, we need to set up so that we can record a voice for him. So I'm going to change this to TQM Balon Grey. Click OK, open it back up, open the response up, and then I'm just going to record some silence. And then I'm going to click save and click OK. Alright. Okay, now we have that. Now what we're going to do is actually, we need to make sure this action, we're going to keep extending it. We'll wait till we're done with the whole scene, but we need to make sure we extend this action 3 across the whole scene so that Balon Grey doesn't move from his seat. So let's add another phase at the end, and this time we're going to add a timer. And this timer is just going to be a nice little delay where it kind of simulates like the player is drinking a Balon special brew. So we're just going to put 4 seconds in there and click OK. And now we need to add some more dialogue here, so I'm going to add another phase at the end. So after that delay, I'm going to add dialogue again. This time he'll say he's still head tracking the player. We'll add some new, and then we're going to add this line here. So he says, "How did you like it? It has a bit of a bite, doesn't it? The secret ingredient is nightshade and perhaps a bit too much." And then we're just going to click OK. OK after it spell checks. TQM Balon Grey for the speaker. Click OK. Open it up. And then select this. I'm going to record some silence. Done. And then save. OK. OK. And then OK one last time. Okay, now for this next one, we're going to add another phase, and this next bit of dialogue, we're actually going to have, there'll be conditional dialogue. So the line itself for this one is, one might say it has enough nightshade to kill a man, an average man, in an hour, but you're no average man, are you? So the trick is, if it's a female player, we want to make sure that that Balon Grey says average woman instead of average man. So again, we're going to head track the player. We're going to add a new one, and first we're going to add in the average man. So I'm just going to paste in the line right here, and then I'm going to just remove that. And so it says average man. Okay. And now again, just click OK to spell check, and then change the speaker to TQM Balon Grey. And now what we need to do is actually add a condition here. So click new there, and then set get PC PC is sex, and then make sure it's set to male. So that means that this dialogue will only be available if the player character, so get player character is sex male. So it's a male character. Click OK. We're going to open it up again, and then do the recording. I'm just going to record silence for now. And then save, OK, then OK. And now what we're going to do is add another one right down here. It's going to be the same dialogue, only we're going to put in, we're going to say woman instead. OK, click OK. And then change again the speaker to Balon Grey. We're going to add a new condition here. Get PC is sex, and then we're going to change this to be female. Click OK. And now we're going to close this, open it back up, and we'll do the recording really quick. And then save. OK. OK. And then OK. Alright, so now what happens is when it comes to this phase, it will say the appropriate line if the player is female or if the player is male. Now I'm just going to add the final few bits of dialogue. So there's oops, not that. We're going to add a phase at the end. Add some dialogue. New. So this line is, no, you're certainly not average. I say you may live at least a day, but no more. As I made longer than that. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit OK here. And to speed things up, I'm going to set this to TQM Balon Grey, but I'm not going to worry about doing the recordings. Just make sure when you're actually building the scene that you do the recordings for each of the lines. I'm just going to add them later. And then there's just a few more lines here. Add dialogue. Head track player on this one. Set the response text. OK. Set the speaker to TQM Balon Grey. Click OK again. OK. Okay, and so let's just end the scene there. Now what we need to do is make sure that the action actually goes across the whole scene here. So we don't want Balon Grey to get up in the middle of a sentence, so we're going to move all the way to the end. And now if you can double click on it to check and make sure it says start at phase 2, end of phase 8, so that sounds right. And now that is the entirety of the scene. So now we move on to scripting. So go ahead and OK and save. Alright, now that we've completed our scene, we're going to start working on the quest script. So to do this, open up the TQM Quest 01 and then go to the Scripts tab and then click the Add button. And the window that pops up, double click the New Script option and then right in here call it TQM Quest 01 Script and then click OK. And then, so this adds a script to our quest, and what we're going to do is add a few properties to it first. So the first property is the amount of time that the player has before he will die from the poisoning. And so leave this as an int for integer, and we're going to call it death time. And then click OK. And then we're going to add another property. And this property is going to be called poison tick. And this is the amount of time that passes between it applying the screen effect. So every poison tick number of seconds, the screen effect of the poison will be shown. So just call it poison tick, leave it as an int, and click OK. And then finally we need to add a property that is the actual screen effect. And so these are called image space modifiers, and these are the screen effects. So the poison green hue that shows up when the player is poisoned, this is what that is. So we're going to call this the poisoned ISM, and click OK. And now for the values, we're going to set death time. We're going to give them a day in a game day. So a game day actually comes out to be, I think, 2,880 real-time seconds. And then the poison tick, we're going to make it 10, so every 10 seconds the screen effect will be applied. And then for the ISM, we're going to set it to poison hit IMod. And so that's the image screen effect that shows up when the player is hit by a poison weapon, I think. So now just click OK, and that set up the properties. So the next thing we do is actually edit the source. So right click and choose Edit Source, and now here's the source of our script. I'm going to paste in some code here. So what we have here is we start off with making a variable called timer, which is an int value, and setting it equal to 0. And this is how we're going to track how much time has passed since the player has been poisoned. So once timer is greater than or equal to the death time, that means we need to kill the player. The next thing we add is a function, and this is called begin poisoned, and we're going to call this function when we want the player to, well, be poisoned, basically. The first thing we do is reset the timer to 0, and then we use this go-to-state command and pass it poisoned. And so this is just showing an example of how to use states. I'll explain this in a second. And then finally all we do is call register for update, and we pass it poison tick. So what this does is it makes the script have an on update event every poison tick number of seconds. So in our case it will be every 10 seconds the on update event will be called. So now you may be wondering about this go-to state thing. Down here you notice we defined a state called poisoned. And then inside of that, we actually declared our event on update. So what this means is when this update occurs, it's going to see if, when we're in the poison state, it will look for this event on update. Since we're in the poison state, it will call this one. If I set this to go to state my state, and down here I have an example of my state, and then what would happen is this event will be called every time on update occurs. But we're not actually using my state. I'm just using this as an example to show you what you could do with multiple states. So maybe you'd have a different state if you're poisoned, a different state if you're sleeping, or something like that, if you needed to handle events differently depending on your current state. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that because that's not necessary. The next thing we do is define a function called endPoisoned. And what this does is it says go to state blank, and it's just an open close string there. And so that just resets it to the default state, so it will fall out of the state. And then what we do is we do unregister for update because we no longer need the script to respond to updates. And it's important to do that because you can slow down the game if you have a lot of events or a lot of scripts that have update events being called. So then down here we define our poison state, and then we have an event on update. So this will be called every 10 seconds. The first thing we do is we apply the poisoned ISM, so that actually makes the screen effect appear on the screen. The next thing we do is we say timer plus equals poison tick. And so what this does is it takes our timer variable and increments it by poison tick number of seconds. So this will be 10 every time, so we'll keep adding 10 to the timer every time on update occurs. Then finally we do an if check, and we say if timer is greater than death time, then we'll say game.getPlayer.kill. So you could obviously be a lot more elegant in your quest, but in this case we're just going to immediately kill the player as soon as timer has gone over death time. Alright, so just save your script and make sure it compiles properly. Okay, and then go ahead and close that. And now what we need to do is actually use this begin poisoned function. I'm going to show how to use that. So we're going to the Scenes tab again, open up our scene, and action 6 in my case is the I prefer my own special brew, why don't you try it? I'm going to open up that action, and I'm going to add, I'm going to open up the actual dialogue line itself. Then down here at the end, this is a script that's called when the line has finished being delivered. So what I'm going to do is use my begin poison function here. So basically when he delivers the line, the player will become poisoned. So I'm going to call get owning quest. I'm going to say as TQM quest 01 script. So this is called casting, and so what we've just done is we have casted the owning quest, which is just a quest type, to a TQM quest 01 script type. And that means now we can call the functions that we defined in our TQM quest 01 script that we just made. So now with this I can just type dot begin poisoned. And so now we'll call that begin poisoned script that we had inside of our TQM quest 01 script. So click compile, and it should show up there. And now click OK. Alright, and so that takes care of the initial scripting. Go ahead and save your work now. So the next part we're going to work on is adjusting the quest stages so that they fit our new quest line. So again, open up the TQM Quest 01 and go to the Quest Stages tab. The first thing we need to do is fix stage 20. So stage 10 just starts the scene, and that's fine. It's just how the old one was. With stage 20, the first thing it does is it adds the note to the player's inventory. We're going to get rid of that because the note really doesn't have anything to do with this quest line anymore. But what we are going to add is alias _ bandit dot get ref dot enable. So what this does is it actually enables the bandit object inside of the Riften bar, so he'll be active and he'll actually appear in the world. Alright, so then go ahead and compile that to make sure that works. Now what we need to do is, so scene 30 is okay. Nothing changes with this, it just updates that. And now we're going to add a new stage at index 40 and add a new log entry so we can write some script in here. And what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to give the player, so when stage 40 occurs, that is actually when the player has talked to Balon Grey and he has given him the antidote. So what we're actually going to do is give the player the antidote. So we're going to say game.getPlayer dot add item alias _ antidote dot get ref. Okay, and the next thing we need to do is set objective completed 30, and then set objective displayed 40. So that should look familiar. Again, all we're doing is saying, alright, so objective at index 30 is now complete. Now display the objective for index 40. Alright, go ahead and compile that, make sure that works. Now what we're going to do is add yet another stage, and this will be the final stage in this quest. We're going to call this one 50. Again, add a log entry. And what we need to do is check this complete quest blocks. And so when that is checked, that means when we reach stage 50, it will say that we've actually completed this quest, because it's the final stage of the quest. Now what we need to do is set this kmyQuest to TQM Quest 01 script. So that means we can easily refer to TQM Quest 01 script using this kmyQuest variable in the code. So we just type kmyQuest dot end poisoned. Okay. And now what that's going to do is it'll actually stop the player from being killed. So what happens is at stage 50, this stage is called when the player has actually when the player actually drank the antidote. So what we're going to do is end the poison part so he won't die any longer. So go ahead and click compile and make sure that works. So sometimes you'll get some errors. It's kind of weird. It says kmyQuest is undefined. If this happens, just comment it out. I like to hit compile again, and then I actually just close the whole quest. And once it closes, just reopen it, go to the quest stages, go to 50 again, uncomment it, and now compile again, and hopefully it will work this time. Okay, so that seems to work this time. I'll go ahead and click OK, and that should finish up all of the scripting for the stages themselves. So make sure to save your work. Alright, now that we've fixed the stages, we need to actually fix the quest objectives as well. So open up TQM Quest 01, go to the Quest Objectives tab, and we're going to change Objective 20 to say kill the poisoned man, and then Objective 30 is changed to retrieve the antidote. And now we're going to add another objective, and this will be objective 40. And objective 40 is drink the antidote. So now these objectives actually fit with our quest line. So go ahead and click OK, and that takes everything for that stage. So the next thing we need to do is actually add some scripts to the aliases themselves. So open up the TQM Quest 01 again, go to the Quest Aliases tab, and this time we're going to edit the bandit script. So go ahead and edit the bandit. Now over here on the right, we want to add a new script, so click Add. Window that pops up, choose New Script, and give the name TQM Quest 01 Bandit Script, and click OK. And now this script is really easy, so just edit the source, and we're just going to respond to the event, the on death event, and we're going to pass it an actor that's a killer. So this event occurs when, obviously, when this character or this actor is killed, and it passes us a reference to the killer. So whatever actor killed the actor, or killed this actor. So all we need to do is when the bandit is killed, we're just going to say get owning quest dot set stage and set it to 30. So this will progress our quest up to stage 30 when the bandit dies. So click save, and hopefully that should work. You can close it, and again do Shift Tab, Enter. And now we need to script the antidote, so edit the antidote. And we're going to add a new script. So same thing, click the new script option. And we're going to call this one TQM Quest 01 Antidote. Just antidote script. Click OK. And what we need this script to do is when the player drinks the antidote, we need to progress the story, or progress the quest. So to handle that, we're going to use the event, the onEquipped event. So onEquipped is called whenever an object is equipped, and so when the player actually drinks the ale, in this case, this event will be called. So this is onEquipped, and again it's past the actor that equipped this item. So what we're going to do is we're going to first check and make sure that the AK actor is equal to game.getPlayer. So we want to make sure that the player was the one that actually drank the ale, or the antidote. And we're just going to say get owning quest dot set stage. We're going to set stage to 50 because that completes the quest after the player drinks the antidote. And so remember, when we change to stage 50 will then heal the player from his poison. So again, save, make sure everything works, and that's all we need for this. And go ahead and save your work. So what we need to do next now is add the dialogue between the player and Balon Grey after the player has killed the bandit, so that the player can go talk to Balon Grey and retrieve the antidote. To do this, we're going to open up TQM Quest 01 again, and go to the Dialogue Views tab. In the left here, right click and select New, and we're just going to add TQM Quest 01 Dia View as the name. And then with this selected, right click in the blank area over here and select Create Branch. I'm just going to call this Dia Branch, and then hit OK. It's going to suggest a default name for the starting topic. That's fine, just leave it. Now double click the lighter orange part here, and it's going to bring up the topic text. So this is the text that the player can ask Balon. So what we're going to say is, I have killed the poisoned man. You owe me an antidote. Now down here you can right click to add Balon's response. So select New, and his response will be, so you have. Here is your antidote as promised. Alright, we're going to change his emotion type to be surprised. Maybe surprised that the player is able to kill the bandit, or the poisoned man. So we hit OK. Now the problem is, after we have this dialogue, just as it is, this little dialogue interaction is now applied to every single actor in the world, or in the world of Skyrim. So what we need to do now is add some conditions so that only Balon Grey can save this dialogue line. So down here in the conditions, select New. We're going to change this condition function to get is alias ref. I was going to say alias is note giver, so that's good. We only want the note giver to be able to have this dialogue. Now the other problem is, at this stage, you could talk to Balon Grey at any point, even before the quest starts, and it'll have this dialogue. So we want to limit it only to when the player is at stage 30. So stage 30 is the stage when the player has killed the bandit. So we're going to use the get stage condition function. We're going to select TQM quest 01 as our quest, and we want to make sure the stage is at stage 30. So type in 30 for the value. Alright, now finally we want to check this goodbye box, which means this is an ending topic, and so after this reply is made, the dialogue will be left and you'll stop talking to Balon Grey. So we want to have the goodbye there. Now finally, we need, after the player has done talking to Balon Grey, we need to have the quest line progress to stage 40. To do that, we're going to use the end script fragment down here. So this is run after the dialogue is finished, after the dialogue has been said. So we're just going to say get owning quest set stage 40. Alright, the last thing we need to do is set the voice recording for Balon Grey here. So what's nice is after we set this get is alias ref, Creation Kit is smart enough to filter the text for us automatically and shows that Mel Nord is the accepted voice type. So I'm just going to record some silence. Later on I'll record the actual line. Okay, I'm just going to click save. Always remember to click save, and then click OK. Alright, and that should cover adding the dialogue. So now you can progress from after you kill the bandit, you can now go talk to Balon Grey and get the antidote. Make sure to save your work. So if you were to run this quest right now, there'd be a few things you notice that it's wrong. First of all, the quest name is still left as Balon Grey's note, which doesn't make sense. And then also, what happens is when you're given the antidote, it's just an ale, because that's what we called the antidote, right? We said antidote is just an instance of the ale object. We're going to change that to actually say antidote, and then we're also going to make it so the bandit's name isn't just bandit, it is going to be set to something that says poisoned man. So to do this, we need to create two new messages. So these are actually under the miscellaneous tab, and go down to message, and then just right click and select new. And we're just going to call the first one TQM antidote antidote name. And the title, we're going to call it Balon Grey's antidote. And then that's all we need to add. So just click OK. And then add another one. This will be TQM bandit name. And this title will just be poisoned man. And then click OK. So now what we need to do is actually assign these names to the objects that they're associated with. So open up the quest, the TQM quest 01, go to the Aliases tab, and now open up Bandit. Now what's nice is when you assign an alias to an object, you can actually overwrite the object's name with a specific name. So up here in this display name option, we can drop this down. We're going to set it to TQM bandit name. So now what happens is the bandit is going to have the name poisoned man. So again, hit Shift Tab, and Enter to save. And now open up the antidote alias. And as you might expect, we're going to change this to TQM antidote name. And then press Shift Tab, Enter. And the last thing we need to do is set the quest name. So again, it's in quest data. And we're just going to call this quest Balon's Game. And then click OK. So that should wrap up the entire quest line. Go ahead and save your work and try it out. Alright, so I've gone back and actually filled in all the voice work, and now we see the final product here. And again, there's plenty of things you could do to improve the quest. So maybe something more obvious about you getting poisoned. The dialogue could obviously be changed. You have maybe an animation when he talks about giving you a drink, so it actually looks like you take a drink. Also, one thing that's kind of weird is that the whole bar reacts as soon as the bandit appears in the top floor. So it'd be kind of nice if that didn't happen, so maybe everyone just acted calm, you just went upstairs and approached the poisoned man. If he didn't know you're already there, things like that. Also, so in this case, we actually see there's a woman bandit, and so poisoned man doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that's okay, because it still works. Yeah. So there's lots of improvements you can make, but hopefully you learned a lot by making this. And you can really see what you can do with the Creation Kit.
Here's your antidote.
Thanks for watching.